Deep down, I reckon every person wants to make a difference. Maybe we'd all like to change something, but how do we do it? How do we tap into the little part of everyone that wants to change the world and do it in a way that's really simple, that we can all be part of this? Yeah, I remember this moment where I was sitting at my computer and I'm watching stories of kids who are spending half a day walking to collect water for their family. And reading stats like, 4,500 kids dying every day from waterborne disease, or hundreds of millions of people without water. And I'm having this moment where I'm realizing I'm watching other kids' stories and imagine if that was my story. Yeah, my sisters Jess and Mel, they're twins, they're younger, and I thought, imagine collecting water for them every day as the brother in the family. Imagine finding out they died one day from waterborne disease. I felt so helpless sitting at my computer. I remember reading about how much we spent on bottled water. In Australia, it was 600 million, globally $50 billion at the time. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. Bottled water is such a dumb product. Gosh, imagine if we could launch a brand of water and turn this kind of dumb product into something more powerful, getting water to people who need it. This thought that maybe together we could do something remarkable.
I remember we were sitting around trying to figure out, so how do we be a business? How do we be professional and do all this sort of stuff? What have we got to do?
We just Googled how to start a bottled water company. You need hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And I remember looking at him going, are you not even worried we do not have this? And he just didn't seem fazed at all. He was like, if this is what we're meant to do, the money's going to come.
Maybe it was a bit naive, but we started booking meetings with some of the biggest bottling plants in the country. As we drive in the car park, we take the P plates down in the car so we didn't look too young.
Never really shared the idea with any of them. We just kept our cards really close to our chest.
The confidential was just more to hide the fact we didn't know what we're doing.
We had a certain naivety about us, which really worked in our favour because we could be bold and we could ask for things which, a more seasoned businessman probably wouldn't. So
3 people just shooting for the stars, and it was so infectious that you wanted to help them.
We were out there knocking on the cafe doors at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, just pleading with people, please take our water. It'll change the world.
People are spending this money anyway, and I want people to be inspired that now they're part of something bigger. And together we could solve some of the world's most complex problems.
We ended up getting to a point where we got 350 stores right across the country.
The launch ended up being a product recall. And when we relaunched the brand, we ended up having a factory kind of disappoint us.
And we didn't receive any water for, I think, about 6 weeks. So all these cafes and people we got on board quickly kept on saying to us, you guys are just kids.
And at one point, 1 year in, we lost 300 of our 350 customers. Everyone said the same thing. Hey, cool guys, we love your passion, but it's you don't really have what it takes. The $2, $3, $4, $5 million that other brands will have. And we're talking about a consumer movement that just sounds like kind of unrealistic.
On top of that, we also had a few deals that we're working on with a few retailers. They came back to us after 3 months or 6 months and said to us, we're not going ahead, we thank you. And that was another kick in the gut. Lots of rejection, lots of, why isn't anyone getting on board? We thought this was a great idea.
When you start out with an idea to change the world and you just think everyone else will get it, but they didn't. But at the same time, I felt like people did get it. I talked to friends, family, just people loved the concept.
And people want to do something and change something, they just don't really know how. So for what we've done, we've created this vehicle.
Its name is Thankyou. I think gratitude is the most important thing we as humans can have. It gives us this perspective that we're blessed.
Every statistic, every number is a person. They have a story. And I just think of the stories. That's what keeps me going.
Well, we never had enough money to justify going and seeing our projects ourselves. So I think we were about 3 years in by this point. We had the opportunity to go and see them for the first time, and I just did not really fully comprehend the impact that it was making across the board. Instead of spending all their money on medical expenses due to the waterborne diseases, they had the ability to go to school, to be able to have an education, to be able to equip them for their future, for them to be able to dream about what they want to do when they grow up. You know, the statistics that we go, oh, we've helped, you know, this many thousand people, whatever, it's put real names to it. These are real people's lives. These are real people that deserve our every energy that we can put into it. Sorry.
Making a difference for someone's life has a massive impact on anybody, and if you can make someone's life turn out something completely different than what it was for the better, I think that's just such an awesome feeling to be able to know that that was you that did that.
I love that thought that now we can all do something. Thankyou is a story of real people all around the world in every different position, saying yes to an idea, a simple idea. I think the consumer power is remarkable.
He taps in to an incredibly powerful generation. They're a whole lot more community-minded, a whole lot more globally oriented.
When you have a variety of choices, it's just kind of something that comes over me to just grab a Thankyou product. It's something that really helps other people, not just myself.
I'm like, wow, it's awesome. You know, there's people out there, and we knew we could engage them again in totally different ranges.
The challenges are, how do you scale up without big investment, without almost going back on the cause and the reason you started this? We're excited. I mean, we think that's the opportunity. What if there was a way to kind of hack the system, to find another way to scale this idea? We launched this campaign. It was really crazy at the time. We called it the 7-Eleven campaign, and we launched a video on YouTube asking supporters to jump onto the 7-Eleven Facebook wall.
We've got to flip this around and flip our approach around. So we thought, can we get people to tell them that if they stocked it, they would buy it? As simple as that, because that's all they're really after.
That was the first I heard of it, and that our Facebook page had crashed, and just to get your attention, and now we've got your attention, we've got something really important we want to talk about. It wasn't just a usual presentation. There was no data, there was no research. It's quite refreshing, as in that position where you kind of get the same people coming in doing the same thing all the time, and getting 3 really young people just coming in, giving it their all. I remember going back home that night and said, I want to work for a company like that someday.
Yeah, they basically rolled the product out as quick as they could.
It went from like this dark to light because I'm thinking there is hope, and so we built on that.
And then he said, we're going to take on Coles and Woolies. And you just shook your head and you thought, Daniel. You've got this far, you've proved the critics wrong.
But it was about really changing the game. They were launching body care products and food.
I think every next step for Thankyou needs to make sense. I mean, the body care range was to fund health, hygiene and sanitation programs. The food range to fund local food programs here in Melbourne, through to global food aid and food development programs.
The definition of the brand is not about what we make, but what we stand for, helping the world.
It was a call to action. We asked people to upload videos on the Coles and Woolies Facebook page, and
I remember as soon as the sunrise feature finished, I heard screaming going on downstairs, and there was just hundreds of posts just happening.
guys flew helicopters for free above the head offices of Coles and Woolies with these giant banners, and everyone came together.
We were able to go in there and pitch a commercial deal. You see everything that we'd learned over the past. They sat back, said, this is brilliant.
They took on an industry where it was so saturated and they wanted to do good, and they have the most phenomenal story.
They've stood the test of time, they've broken through the barriers, and they're just as enthusiastic as ever.
This idea sometimes seems so complex, but it's actually so simple. It literally just needs people to say yes.
It's awesome to see how it's become a part of people's everyday lives.
That they still have the opportunity to be able to save someone's life.
That shift of power, Thankyou have imagined, moved into the space, really occupied that space to transform lives.
What we've been able to do and the results that we've been able to achieve have left industry experts speechless.
We go from helping the 56,000 people who got access to safe water to now hundreds of thousands of people getting access to water, food, health, sanitation, over $3.3 million raised because people said yes. We know that every time we can exponentially grow Thankyou, the impact exponentially grows. And because of that reason, because we exist 100% for impact, we will put everything on the line. We will step out. We will do what some people say is impossible. And in the lead up to this launch, well, a lot of people have said a lot of things. But what if they did say yes? And I love that. And maybe it's naive, maybe it's boldness, I'm not sure. Because when it does work, the answer to that is we literally go on to change what is now hundreds of thousands into millions of people with access to basic human rights. And we just invite people to come on that journey. And yeah, it's scary, very nerve-wracking. It's just like the first chapter of the journey. I can't wait to see what the future looks like.